In this video, we will be studying about something about random numbers. That is, first thing we are going to study which are the techniques of generating the random numbers. So, wherever in the previous examples we have seen that whenever you are finding the inter-arrival times or service times, we are using some random numbers, is it not? So, using those random numbers, we are finding out the arrival times or the service times. So, how these random numbers are generated? Random number play a very important role in the simulation. So, how these random numbers are generated? So, first method, that is a linear congruential method. So, here random integers will be generated. Xi plus 1 is nothing but the random integer. So, using these random integer, we are generating the random numbers, that is Ri. So, what is the formula used here is xi plus 1 is equal to a into xi plus c mod m. So, this is the formula used to generate the random integers. What is this xi? As I told you, it is a random integer. A indicates the multiplier, c will indicate the incrementer, and mod will indicate the modulus value. And here first x naught will be given to you. X naught is the first random integer that is called as a seed. This seed value will be given to you. A and c and m value also will be given. So, by substituting those values, we have to find out the random integers. After finding the random integers, we have to substitute that value and find out the random number, that is Ri. So, let us see a problem how to solve this. So, here is the question given. Use the linear congruential method to generate a sequence of random numbers here. X naught is given as 27, means it is the first seed. Value is given as 27, value of A is 17 and value of C is 43 and value of M is given as 100. Total number of integers we have to generate is depending on the question. How many numbers they are going to ask? So many integers we have to generate here. They may ask generate 5 random numbers for the given details. So that time 5 xi and 5 ri should be generated here. And one more very important thing we have to keep in mind, that the value of c will indicate the type of method we have to use. If the value of c is not equal to 0, then it is mixed congruential method, means c will be having some non-zero value. Suppose if the value of c is 0, then it is called as a multiplicative congruential method. In the question they will not mention that the value of c is 0. So directly they may say that use the multiplicative congruential method to find out the random integers. So that time automatically the value of c should be considered as 0 there. So let us see how we are going to do here. So now x naught is already given as 27, xi plus 1. So what formula we are having here? We are having the formula xi plus 1. Let us take I as 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. x1 is equal to. So what we are having here? x1 is equal to. Next we are having a into xi. What is the value of a? A value is 17 given in a question. 17 into xi, x0. 17 into x0. 17 into what is x naught? X naught is given as 23 plus c. What is the value of c given here? Value of c is given as 43 plus 43 mod 100. M is given as 100 here. Modulus value. So 17 into 27 plus 43 into mod 100. So what we are going to do here is, so we are having what? 17 into 27. So 17 into 27 plus 43. 502. So we are having 502 mod 100. Mod means it is going to give you the remainder. So 502 divided by 100. 100 5s are 502 will be the remainder. So we have got now x1. x1 is 2. So find the first r1 we have to find here. That is xi by m. What is xi? This is 1 here. So 2 we have got here 2 divided by 100, that is 0.02. This is the first random number. Next we are having x2. So x2 is equal to what formula we are having? We are having a is equal to xi plus c mod m. So xi value what we are having here now? A is 17 already given here. 17 into what xi value means I is equal to 1 here. So when I is equal to 1, so what is x1? x1 is 2. 17 into 2 plus 43 is the value of c mod 100. So 17 into 2 plus 43 is, so now we are having 17 into 2 plus 43, we are going to get 77 mod 100. 77 mod 100. What is 77 mod 100? It is 77 itself. Okay. So what we are having here? 77 divided by 100. So 77 is not divisible. So we are going to take point. So before decimal number, what 100 zeros are 0 here. So how much will remain? 77. So 75 is the remainder. So that we have taken here. So like this we are going on solving. First xi, then ri. How many values they are told to find out in the question? So many values we have to find out. This is how the linear equation, linear congruential method will work. There is another example where they are telling you to find the cycle of cycle or a period of each generator. What is cycle or period of each generator? See here. So we are having x. These are already generated random numbers. So 1, 13, 41 up to 5. So from I is equal to 0 till I is equal to 15 we are getting the random numbers. When I is equal to 16, see the first number is repeating here 1. Again 13, 41, 21, 17, like this it will go on, repeat the values. After certain amount of value of I, these numbers or random integers go on repeating. So this is called as the period or the cycle of a random generator. What is the period of xi? When xi is equal to 0, so what we are going to get here? When xi is equal to 0, we are going to get a cycle of 15 here. 0 to 15 means 14. So like this, see, let us see this question, then we will understand. Use the multiplicative congruential method. See, I told you what is multiplicative congruential method. In that, value of c will be 0. Find the period of the generator. Find the period means how many numbers, after how many numbers the sequence of these random numbers will repeat. Now see here, in this when xi is equal to, this is when xi is equal to 1, xi is equal to 2, xi is equal to 3 and xi is equal to 4. When xi value, that is when x naught value is equal to 2 here, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After 8 numbers, the sequence starts repeating. But see the cycle or the period of this when x naught is equal to 3. So after 16 numbers, this cycle is going to repeat. Means first number you have to get again. So that between the first number and the last number, this is called as the period of that random generator. They will tell you to find the period. So here what they are saying, they are telling here value of a, m and c is given. What is c value? It is multiplicative congruential method, so it is called as the c is equal to 0 here. And when x naught is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, see when x naught is equal to 1, this we are getting. When x naught is equal to 2, this we are getting. X naught is equal to 3, this, and x naught is equal to 4. Here again same formula we are going to use. So what formula we had used there? We are used there xi plus 1 is equal to a into xi plus c mod m. This formula only we are going to use and find out only the random integers and find out the cycle here. So substitute first when x naught is equal to 1. When x naught is equal to 1, these numbers you are going to get, and stop until you are going to get the first random digit repeating. So count the numbers here from 0 to 15 means it is 16 numbers. So the generator or the period of generator when x naught is equal to 1 is 16. So this is when x naught is equal to 2 here. When x naught is equal to 2, What is the generator here? From 0 to 7 means 8. The generator period here is 8. Cycle length is 8. So here what is the cycle length? Here the cycle length is 16. From 0 to 15 means it is 16. Here it is from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 5 here. So like this same formula you are going to use, this one, A into xi plus C mod m. Using this formula only you are going to find the cycle of each of the generator. This is how the linear congruential method is used for finding the random integers and the random numbers. Next we are going to see what are the tests for random numbers. This also is very important. These questions have appeared many times in the examination here. So the two main important properties of the random numbers are uniformity and independence. Means the generated random numbers should be uniformly distributed and they should be independent of each other. Means there should be no relation in between the previous number and the next number. These are the two properties, that is uniformity and independence. So now when the random numbers will be generated, we have to see whether these two properties have been followed or not. So to find out whether these properties are followed or not, we are having some tests here. So one test is the uniformity test. To find out whether the numbers are uniformly distributed, we are having two tests, that is frequency tests. Which are those frequency tests? We are having Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, that is KS test, and the chi-square or chi-square test. So frequency tests are used to find out whether the numbers are uniformly distributed or not. Then to find out whether the numbers are independent of each other, we are having a test called as autocorrelation test. These three problems also are very important in exam point of view. Okay, so now let us see these frequency tests. So before that, let us consider some hypothesis. What do you mean by hypothesis? It is some assumption. Whenever the random numbers are given and they are asked you to perform some frequency test on it, before performing those tests we have to assume something, we have to hypothesize something. H0 will give you the hypothesis. It is saying that the random numbers are uniformly distributed between the range 0 and 1. Then H0 is rejecting the hypothesis. Rejecting the hypothesis means whatever assumption we have done that the numbers are uniformly distributed, here we are not we are rejecting that test here. Ri means the random numbers are not uniformly distributed. So here what we are doing, we are assuming that the numbers which are random numbers which are given are uniformly distributed, and here we are rejecting, they are not uniformly distributed. This is for the uniformity test. For independence test, what we are doing, the random numbers are independent of each other, the random numbers are not independent of each other. So we are accepting the hypothesis or rejecting the hypothesis depending upon the answer. So this we have to keep in mind. So next let us start with the frequency tests. Why are these frequency tests used? Frequency tests are used for checking the uniformity, and the autocorrelation test is used to check the independence. Okay, so now you can see here frequency tests are used for checking the uniformity, autocorrelation tests are used for checking the independence of the random numbers. Let us start with the first test, that is Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. This is also known as KS test. Kolmogorov-Smirnov KS test. Here we have to follow certain numbers, steps. So what we have to do here is some random numbers will be given and they will ask you perform the KS test to find on the given random numbers. So certain steps to be followed here. First step, rank the data from smallest to largest, means arrange the numbers in the ascending order. So next what we are going to do here is we have to compute D plus and D minus. What is D plus? D plus is given by I divided by n minus Ri. We have to find out for all random numbers this one and take out the maximum value of all those numbers, that will be your D plus. D minus means Ri minus I minus 1 divided by n. Maximum of this value will be given to D minus. So this we have computed in the second step. In the third step we have to compute the value of D, that is maximum of D plus or D minus. Which is maximum among the D plus and D minus, that will be given to here D. Now we have found out the D. This is the D which you have found out using the tabulation, that is by sample. Okay, then we are going to find out the D value, that is critical D value. What is this critical D value? In at the end of the textbook, in the appendix, they are given some tables there. So in that table we can find out D alpha. What is this alpha? Alpha is the level of significance. So the level of significance will be already given into the in your question itself. So we have to check this critical value with the theoretical value. Always the theoretical value should be less than this critical value. Then only we are accepting the hypothesis that the numbers are uniformly distributed. So if this become false, see, if the sample statistics D means theoretical value of D, if it is greater than this D alpha critical value, then we are rejecting the null hypothesis. Rejecting means what? We are telling that the numbers are not uniformly distributed. So these steps we have to follow to solve this problem. Let us solve an example to understand it clearly. So this is the given question here. Here they have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 random numbers they have given here. So and the level of significance alpha is equal to 0.05. That is also given here. What is the first step? We have to arrange those numbers into the ascending order. So what is the first step we have seen here? Rank the data from the smallest to the largest. So we have arranged those numbers. See, Ri. I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Ri. I have arranged these numbers and written in the ascending order. Next we have to calculate what? We have to calculate D plus. D plus means I divided by n minus Ri. So first I will calculate I divided by n, then I will do I divided by n minus Ri. So I divided by n I have done here. What is I? I is 1. What is n? N is equal to 5 here. 5 numbers are there, no? So n is equal to 5. 1 divided by 5 here. So what we are going to do here? 1 divided by 5. So we have got 0.2. That is what I have written here, 0.2. Next, I is 2 here, n is 5 again. So we are doing 2 divided by 5. So we are getting 0.4. Next, 3 divided by n is 0.6. 4 divided by 5. That is 0.8. 5 divided by 5, that is 1. Next, I divided by n minus Ri. In the formula we are having here, I divided by n minus Ri. So now I divided by n I have got minus Ri, means this minus Ri. So 0.20 minus 0.05. So what we are getting? 0.20 minus 0.05. So we are having 0.15. Next, I divided by n minus Ri, 0.40 minus 0.14. So 0.40 minus 0.14. We are going to get 0.26. Next, this 0.60 minus 44, this value we are going to get. Now for this one, 0.80 minus 0.81. So 0.80 minus 0.81. So we are going to get a negative number here, minus 0.01. We are neglecting the negative value here. Next, 1 minus 0.93, we are going to get 0.07. This we have done here. Next we have to calculate here what? D minus also we have to calculate. So D minus, D plus means maximum of this value. So among this I divided by n minus Ri, which is the maximum value, that will be your D plus. 0.26 is the maximum value. So maximum we are going to get here 0.26. Next, for D minus, it is Ri. We are already having a row for Ri. Next, minus I minus 1 we have to do. So, I will do here I minus 1. What is I here? I is 1. 1 minus 0, sorry. Yes. So, I minus 1. I is 1 here. 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 1, 1, 3 minus 1, 2, 4 minus 1, 3, 5 minus 1, 4. I have done I minus 1. Next we are having what? I minus 1 divided by n. N value we are taking here 5. N value 5 because 5 numbers are there. I by I minus 1 already computed, divided by n is 5. 0 by 5 it is 0. Next 1 divided by 5, 0.2, 2 divided by 5, 3 divided by 5, 4 divided by 5. Next we are having Ri minus I minus 1 divided by n. See, I minus 1 divided by n we have already computed. Next we are having Ri here. So, this 0.05 minus 0, 0.05. 0.14 minus 0.2. So, that we are going to get a negative value here. So, what we are having? So, 0.14 minus 0.2 here. So, what value? Minus value. So, we are neglecting the value here. Next 0.44 minus 0.4, this value. Like this we have got. So, this maximum of this one, Ri minus I minus 1 divided by n. Ri minus I minus 1 divided by n. What is the maximum value here we are going to get? That is 0.21. So, I have got 0.21. D plus and D minus both I have calculated. So, next what we are having here? Value of D we have to calculate. So, value of D is given by max D plus and D, max of D plus and D minus. Max of what is D plus value? 0.26. What is D minus value? 0.21. Which is maximum? 0.26. So, the theoretical value which we have calculated here we have got, that is 0.26. So, 0.26 we have got. Next, critical, this is theoretical or sample value. Critical value D alpha. What is D alpha? 0.05. It is already given here. Alpha value 0.05, comma n. N is 5 here. N is equal to 5. So, at the end of the table in the appendix of the textbook in A.8, Kolmogorov-Smirnov critical values for D of 0.05 here. See here, D value here is 0.05. D of 0.05 comma 5 here you are having. So, for 5 it is 0.565. So, what value we have taken here? 0.565. So, this table it will be almost it will be given in the question itself, the value this one 0.56. Otherwise, you can take the xerox of that appendix table, that is A.8 table in your examination. So, that is given. Now, compare these values. So, sampling value should be always less than the critical value. Sampling value is 0.26. It is less than critical value. Therefore, if it is less than critical value, we are accepting. Accepting means we are not rejecting. Okay. The hypothesis that the random numbers are distributed uniformly in the interval 0 to 1 is not rejected. This sentence is very, very important. If you solve the complete sum but you are not writing a conclusion whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected, then you are going to there will be some deduction in your marks. So, this line is very important. Since the sampling value is less than the critical value here, the null hypothesis is not rejected. Not rejected, you can write here not rejected, or you can write here accepted also. The null hypothesis that the numbers are uniformly distributed in the interval 0 to 1 is accepted, or it is not rejected. Like this you can solve the sum. So, what we have to do here, basically first arrange them into ascending order, then D plus and D minus. See, for D plus we have to find I by n minus Ri. This row we have to create, find D plus. For D minus I minus 1 you have to do create a row for I minus 1 divided by n, then create a row for Ri and minus this one. So finally 2 points, find the maximum of d plus and d minus. So by doing this one and comparing the value of a sample value and the critical value, you are going to find out whether the null hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So this is how the KS test is performed.